Tune in to Boy Things After Dark from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a sizzling outside broadcast live from Bird Shack Fried Chicken at 118 Riddles Road on Wednesday, June 4. Join me, Kareem Boy Things Brothers, to Bird Shack for the famous crispy golden fried chicken. We are bringing the vibes our belly to Bird Shack to satisfy our hunger. Yes, that. Expect live music, giveaways, and more. Visit Bird Shack Fried Chicken on June 4 and join me on Boy Things After Dark. Tell us your favorite meal from Bird Shack Fried Chicken and why. So tune in to Boy Things After Dark, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Wednesday, June 4. Check us out at Bird Shack Fried Chicken on 118 Riddles Road. Also, log on to our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90FM Live 2. If you can't make it, interact with us online. All this and more, only on Nationwide 90FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken Jamaica.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 as well in Montego Bay.
News at 5 teasers are brought to you by Advanced Scales and Equipment. Service is our total commitment.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robian Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, job descriptions for parliamentarians tabled and approved in the House of Representatives.
Appearing hale and hearty, politicking in the sun while they can't attend Parliament. It is barefaced.
Government moving to ensure the country's utility services are better equipped to withstand storms this hurricane season.
Murders down 47% in St. Andrew Central.
Civil lawsuit refiled against MP Dwayne Smith over allegations that he owes more than $20 million.
Government dismisses PNP claims that the integrity of the country's financial system is at risk of being compromised.
In news from the rest of the world, scientists say a record amount of seaweed hit the Caribbean and nearby areas in May.
Trump warns that Putin will seek revenge for Ukraine drone attack.
In headline sports, West Indies women defeated by England in second ODI in Leicester.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, the report detailing the job descriptions for parliamentarians has finally been tabled and approved in the House of Representatives. Public commentator Jermaine Barrett and veteran journalist Franklin McKnight will give us their reactions to this historic document.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, what should be included in the job descriptions for parliamentarians? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
At 7, the president of the International Committee of the Red Cross has told the BBC that Gaza has become worse than hell on earth. You'll hear more.
And at 8, it's Boya Things After Dark with Kareem Boya Things Weathers.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. This Wednesday afternoon, it's Wednesday, June 4, 2025.
News at 5 teasers were brought to you by Advanced Scales and Equipment. Service is our total commitment.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The report detailing the job descriptions for parliamentarians has finally been tabled and approved in the House of Representatives. The report will form the basis on which proper criteria will be established for the public to judge the performance and behavior of their MPs. As the historic document was being tabled, some MPs blasted their colleagues who are perpetually absent from sittings of the lower house. Siobhan Campbell reports.
The original Green Paper on the job descriptions for parliamentarians was tabled in the House of Representatives in 2023 by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. 2 years later, Member of Parliament for North East St. Catherine, Carencia Morrison, tabled the report for adoption by the House. The first-term MP says it's been long overdue. She says she's received complaints about many of her colleagues who routinely miss sittings of the Parliament, which form the basis of their responsibilities.
One of the concerns raised in the public space is that there are MPs who are absent from the sitting of the House for weeks or months while collecting full salary from Parliament. And it raises criticism when members whose absence, barring illness, is perpetual and chronic, signing maybe once every 3 months, while appearing hale and hearty in public, going about regular business, politicking in the sun, while they can't attend Parliament. It is barefaced.
North Clarendon MP Dwight Sibley's went further. He labelled the practice as distasteful.
And with the people who are asking that they see their representatives who they have sent here to be in this house and to contribute to various debates and committees. It is not correct. It is distasteful for us to be sent here. And having been sent here, we pay scant regards to the people's business. I'm encouraging all of my colleagues to do their job. At least those that every Jamaican agree to be our job as legislature.
The standing orders of Parliament outline requirements for MPs to attend sittings, granting leave for illness or other serious situations. However, the rules are rarely, if ever, properly adhered to or enforced. And Southwest St. Andrew MP Anthony Hilton says it's not simply enough to be present in the chambers, but meaningful contributions must be made.
To my mind, the most important thing is that you come here and you make a meaningful contribution. You cannot come here and say nothing, and when you do say something, it doesn't move the needle at all whatsoever. You have members who are here sitting, and I wouldn't recognize their voice if they speak anywhere else. I simply would not recognize their voice. I hope that the document goes into much greater detail and ask and hold us accountable for meaningful, not only being present and marked present or absent, but that we come and we make meaningful contribution to the debate that legislators are asked to do so often, and that is our primary role, which is to participate in effective lawmaking.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says his government is focused on ensuring that the country's utility services are better equipped to withstand storms this hurricane season. The Prime Minister was speaking at a meeting of the National Disaster Risk Management Council on Wednesday. The 2025 hurricane season started on June 1. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
Last July, Hurricane Beryl hit Jamaica as a Category 3 storm, leaving a large portion of the country without water, electricity, internet or telephone service. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says in this 2025 hurricane season, the country's utilities must be better equipped to withstand natural disasters. Addressing the National Disaster Risk Management Council on Wednesday, Prime Minister Holness noted that the island's telecommunications sector is not only vulnerable to weather events, but also criminals. He says stricter punishments are needed for those guilty of damaging and stealing its equipment.
Our telecommunication providers. Now, I think Jamaica has a very robust telecommunication infrastructure. It has served us well. It has carried us through storms and they are back up relatively quickly. But we have seen where they are vulnerable to criminal activity, particularly the theft of fuel, the theft of generators, theft of copper and fiber, and sometimes even the repeaters. But I think that the government must now create special legislation to place special harsher penalties on those persons who prey upon these critical infrastructure.
The Prime Minister then turned his attention to electricity. He called on the Jamaica Public Service Company to ensure it can quickly restore service in the likelihood of a severe weather event.
The JPS must undertake a comprehensive review of its distribution network and replace those compromised and broken poles with concrete poles. I know that they have started that work. There is a budget, a capital allocation for that, and that work must proceed right throughout the year with great speed and alacrity so that, God forbid that there is any other disaster to come, that we are not without electricity in those areas for any extended period of time. And I know that the JPS is addressing that, but we must say it publicly and we must hold them to account for it.
On the issue of water supply, Prime Minister Holness notes that the government is aiming to provide the National Water Commission with generators for some of its critical facilities.
As we examined the operations of the NWC, clearly, except for gravity-fed systems, once the electricity is out, then the entire country would be out of water. So the NWC has to develop independent power sources. It has to have its own backup strategy, its own backup capability. And so the government has started work towards ensuring that the critical areas for supply and distribution, that those pumping stations will have backup generators. That's a long-term objective, but we're going to ensure that we at least have some short-term capabilities.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Police divisions across the country continue to record a decline in murders since the start of the year. The latest update came from the St. Andrew Central Police. Administrative Officer in the division, DSP Cheryl Brown, told Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness on Wednesday that murders are now down 47% in St. Andrew Central.
We are boasting that we are down with all major crimes in this particular division. In fact, last year, this time, we had 30 murders. And this time, in this division, we have 16 murders. So we are down by murder 47%. And we are keeping things, hoping that we can maintain that, and we will, sir.
But there are some kind of tough neighborhoods in this region.
It is, but we are resolute, and leadership is what is important. And we have the tenacity and the commitment and the drive to see it through.
DSP Brown says most of the murders recorded in the division are gang-related. She noted that the police have increased their focus on engaging young people to prevent them from being involved in gang activity.
It is really a challenge for us, but we have a strong community safety and security branch where we engage our young people. We also partnership with private sector and JSAFE, where we have this social mentoring program, and we do that from the St. Andrew Central Division. We go into the schools and we target the youngsters in the varying community. We offer them a solution in terms of, well, we don't have the resources in terms of financial resources, but that's not our role. But we partner with the different agencies, and we are seeing some success there.
DSP Cheryl Brown, Administrative Officer in the St. Andrew Central Police Division, speaking with Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness.
A civil lawsuit has been refiled against Member of Parliament for Northwest St. Andrew, the JLP's Dwayne Smith, over allegations that he owes the claimant in excess of $20 million. The claimant in the matter is businessman Sean Azan. Reports are that Mr. Azan extended a personal loan to MP Smith over a period. However, the original case was discontinued after Smith claimed he was never served with the legal documents. The matter was brought before the Supreme Court in downtown Kingston on Wednesday, where it was withdrawn. Following this development, Mr. Azan's attorney, Christopher Dunkley, refiled the suit. Mr. Dunkley spoke with our news team.
It's a private matter between Mr. Smith and Mr. Azan, but in the action that Mr. Azan took against Mr. Smith has opposed it on the basis that he says he wasn't served originally with the claim. Mr. Azan has refiled another claim, and we've discontinued the one that he says he wasn't served with. We've decided not to have an argument in court about that. We just focus on what Mr. Azan has come to court for, which is to recover monies loaned to Mr. Smith.
Mr. Dunkley says MP Smith had made promises regarding repayment, none of which have been fulfilled.
There were what appeared to have been bona fide attempts to settle his indebtedness, but it didn't come to anything because the indebtedness was not settled. He has never disputed the sums owed. He has disputed that he was served. That's what this is about.
Christopher Dunkley, attorney at law. Dwayne Smith is being represented by Lindsay Law Chambers. His attorney declined to speak with the media. Smith is currently serving his first term as MP for Northwest St. Andrew.
You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision, including diabetes, hypertension, and some cancers. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today. The time by IQ Optical is
5:14.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
How are this the on TV?
Information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently? But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes, Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor to go check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deep fake?
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait, I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
Continuing the news, Government Senator Marlon Morgan is dismissing claims by the PNP that the integrity of the country's financial system is at risk of being compromised. Spokesperson on Foreign Affairs Dr. Angela Brownberg made the claims as part of her sectoral debate presentation on Tuesday. Senator Morgan is instead warning that it's the PNP's utterances that are jeopardizing the government's hard-won financial credibility.
It is despicable, unfortunate, unpatriotic, and vulgar for the PNP, in this instance, through its chairman, Dr. Angela Brownberg, to have used the floor of Jamaica's parliament of all places to raise unwarranted and baseless alarm and paint a false picture regarding the integrity of Jamaica's financial system and indeed our financial crimes combating architecture, as is the case with the FID. Dr. Brownberg and the PNP are recklessly compromising Jamaica's reputation and are undermining the gains we have made in recent times, having been removed from the grey list internationally.
According to Dr. Brownberg, this danger is compounded by the appointment of Chartered Accountant Dennis Chung as the Chief Technical Director of the Financial Investigations Division. She further noted that the matter could compromise Jamaica's position on the Financial Action Task Force, FATF. Jamaica was removed from the grey list of the Global Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Watchdog in June last year. Senator Morgan is urging Dr. Brownberg and the PNP to desist from spewing false narratives that could harm the country.
The PNP knows fully well that the Financial Investigations Division has the requisite resources, technical capabilities and units, as well as operational systems to faithfully and efficiently discharge its mandate. As is well known to the PNP, Dennis Chung, as Chief Technical Director, will be providing strategic direction and coordinating the day-to-day operations of the entire team at the FID and has tremendous human and other resources, including police investigators, available to him. The PNP, quite frankly, needs to desist from its destructive strategy of seeking to tarnish Jamaica's reputation, tear down hard-working people, and of course, burn the country down in their bid to rule over the ashes.
Marlon Morgan, Government Senator.
Over 40 firefighters from the Jamaica Fire Brigade tackled an early morning blaze at the Rush Marketing Company Limited on Spanish Town Road on Wednesday. That's according to Deputy Commissioner Warren Malcolm. He told our news center that the fire brigade was alerted sometime after 1 a.m.
On the 4th of June 2025, at approximately 1:51 a.m., Jamaica Fire Brigade received a call of building on fire, number 252 to 254 Spanish Town Road. Reports on arrival recognized that it was a commercial building that was on fire, which was occupied by Rush Marketing Company. The fire was to the rear of the building and confined to a warehouse which contained appliances, mattresses, and cooking oil. Stations from the Harper Tree, Trenchtown, Rollington Town, York Park, and Spanish Town responded. 43 firefighters in total fought the blame.
Deputy Commissioner Malcolm says the building experienced severe damage.
A number of 3 large jets and 1 medium was put into operation. However, damage to the building and its content was considered severe. Fire was brought under control approximately 4:15 a.m. Happy to note that there were no injuries to firefighters or civilians, and there was no electricity that was connected to that building as it was being used as a storeroom. But I can say that after assessing the damage, it was considered severe to the building and its content. To date, we have wrapped up the extinguishing of the fire. Have not yet ascertained the cause of the fire, but investigation is ongoing.
Warren Malcolm, Deputy Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade. Nationwide News understands that the fire is suspected to be the work of arsonists. Rush Marketing is a store which sells appliances, electronics, office and home furniture, and commercial equipment. Images obtained by our news center show several appliances destroyed and sections of the warehouse burnt to the ground.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute. Scientists say 38 metric tons of seaweed hit the Caribbean and nearby areas in May, and more is expected this month. This is according to a report published on Monday by the University of South Florida's Optical Oceanography Lab. It says this is the biggest quantity of sargassum, the brown prickly algae, observed across the Caribbean Sea, the western and eastern Atlantic, and the Gulf of Mexico since scientists began studying the Great Atlantic Sargassum Belt in 2011. The report says sargassum is suffocating shorelines from Puerto Rico to Guyana and beyond. It's also disrupting tourism, killing wildlife, and even releasing toxic gases. These fumes recently forced one school in the French Caribbean island of Martinique to temporarily close. The previous record of 22 million metric tons was set in June 2022.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin says he will have to respond to Ukraine's major drone attack on his country's air bases. The warning was allegedly given to U.S. President Donald Trump during a phone call on Wednesday. At least 40 Russian warplanes at 4 military bases were damaged after Ukraine launched a series of drone strikes on June 1. According to Trump, Putin indicated that he will respond to the attack. Russian officials declined to confirm the assertion, but Moscow says military options were on the table. Trump warned in a social media post that the phone call would not lead to immediate peace between Russia and Ukraine. According to Russian media, Putin told Trump that the government in Kyiv has turned into a terrorist organization. The conversation between the two leaders marks the first since the drone attack.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, job descriptions for parliamentarians tabled and approved in the House of Representatives.
Government moving to ensure the country's utility services are better equipped to withstand storms this hurricane season.
Murders down 47% in St. Andrews Central. I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News next. The headlines at 6.
Tired of waiting for your ride? Want safety and peace of mind on every journey?
Amber On Time is here! With verified drivers, real-time vehicle tracking, and panic button with armed security response, your safety is our priority. Reliable service, easy booking, premium experience, it's all just a tap away. Download Amber On Time today.
Tune in to Boy Things After Dark from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a sizzling outside broadcast live from Bird Shack Fried Chicken at 118 Riddles Road on Wednesday, June 4. Join me, Kareem Boy Things with us to Bird Shack for their famous crispy golden fried chicken. We are bringing the vibes our belly to Bird Shack to satisfy our hunger. Yes, that. Expect live music, giveaways, and more. Visit Bird Shack Fried Chicken on June 4 and join me on Boy Things After Dark. Tell us your favorite meal from Bird Shack Fried Chicken and why. So tune in to Boy Things After Dark, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Wednesday, June 4. Check us out at Bird Shack Fried Chicken on 118 Riddles Road. Also, log on to our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90FM Live 2. If you can't make it, interact with us online. All this and more, only on Nationwide 90FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken Jamaica.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Amy Jones and Tammy Beaumont crafted impressive centuries to help steer England to a stunning 143-run win over West Indies in the second one-day international, that's a women's one-day international at Upton Steel County Ground in Leicester. The pair shared in a 202-run first-wicket partnership as the home team posted 366 for 6 of their 50 overs. Jones made a superb 129 of 98 balls with 24s. Beaumont was also savage with 106 of 109 balls. She hit 12 fours and a 6. Emma Lamb weighed in with 55. Karishma Rangmaharak and Alia Alain took 2 wickets apiece. The Windies fell well short of their 367-run victory target. They were bowled out for 223 inside 46 overs. Liliana Grimond made 53 and Janella Glasgow 44. Alice Capsey took 3 for 41, while Lauren Filer and Lindsay Smith back 2 apiece. England lead the series 2-0 with the third game set for Saturday. And the 4 Jamaicans are amongst the nominees for the 8th CWI Weeper Awards Gala, an event that honors the outstanding performances in West Indies cricket over the past year. Former captain Rovman Powell and opener Brandon King are amongst the 5 nominees for Men's T20 Player of the Year. They join Nicholas Pooran, Akil Hussain and Alzarri Joseph. National Women's Team captain Rashada Williams and Stephanie Taylor are the other Jamaicans up for awards. Williams will battle Erin Dean, Shabika Gajnabi, Mandy Mangru and Plifiana Millington for the Women's T20 Player of the Year, while Taylor has been nominated for the Women's One-Day International Player of the Year with the West Indies captain Haley Matthews, Chanel Henry, Zadie James and Affie Fletcher. Former captain of the Test team Craig Brathwaite is among the nominees for Test Player of the Year. Kavem Hodge and Jaden Seals along with Shama Joseph and Alzarri Joseph are also in that as well. The Men's ODI Player of the Year, Shifrin Rutherford, Casey Carty, Gudakesh Moti, Alzarri Joseph and the current white ball captain Shea Hope are amongst those. And Haley Matthews also had multiple nominations. And there will also be awards for West Indies Championship Player of the Year, a Regional T20 Player of the Year, CG United Super 50 Cup Player of the Year, CG United Women's Super 50 Cup Player of the Year, and West Indies T20 Blaze Player of the Year. The awards function will take place on June 22 at the Wyndham Grand Barbados Sam Lords Castle. The Ultimate Cricket Ground in Discovery Bay has been chosen as the venue for the Stewart Automotive Michael Holding JCA Senior Cup Final this weekend. The 2-day final between Kensington and St. Catherine CC is set to bowl off on Saturday. Kensington and St. Catherine booked their spots in the championship decider, having bagged first innings points in their respective semi-finals against Clarendon and defending champions Kingston. Chairman of the JCA Marketing Committee and President of the St. Mary Cricket Association, Ian Spencer, says the final should be a cracking event.
It promises to be very, very exciting. Kensington and St. Catherine CC, what more can I ask for? Some of the most explosive batsmen and bowlers in the country. So we're urging all cricket fans to really come out, turn up at Ultimate this weekend and really watch some exciting action.
That's Ian Spencer. Portugal are through to Sunday's UEFA Nations League final after coming from behind to beat Germany 2-1 at the Allianz Arena in Munich on Wednesday. Florian Wirtz gave Germany the lead 3 minutes after the break, but Francisco Conceição drew Portugal level on minute 63 before that man, you guessed it, Cristiano Ronaldo, bagged in his 137th international goal for the winner. Portugal, the 2019 winners, will now await the outcome of the second semi-final, a clash between Ousmane Dembele and Lamine Yamal, France against Spain. You just think that this could determine the Ballon d'Or winner for this year. That clash is tomorrow, and Portugal will know who they'll play in that big final on Sunday. Minister of Sports Olivia Grange is currently attending the Olympism 365 Summit in Lausanne, Switzerland. The 3-day event, which is set to end on Thursday, has brought together more than 250 representatives from over 100 organizations within the Olympic movement, United Nations agencies, civil society, financial institutions, for-purpose businesses, the safe sport community, and the IOC young leaders. Granger was specially invited to the summit by newly minted IOC boss, Kirsty Coventry, in recognition of her distinguished service as one of the longest-serving ministers of sport globally. She will take center stage at the main plenary session on Wednesday, where she will speak alongside Antonella Boldino, the CEO of Italy's public bank, focused on sport and cultural development. The Olympism 365 Summit focuses on leveraging sport to advance the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and Grange's participation underscores Jamaica's leadership in using sport as a driver of positive and social transformation. And that will do it for sport. We're going to be back with more in our major sportscast at 6:05 this evening.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
The loan frenzy is on with Infinity Co-op Credit Unions. Fund your possibilities loan promotion with 0 to low processing fees, up to 240 months to repay, and competitive interest rates. You can borrow using a secured or unsecured loan to fund your dreams. Dream it, fund it, live it with Infinity, where possibilities are endless. Visit infinitycuja.com or call 876-926-6973 for more details. Conditions apply.
Pegasus Traders Limited has in stock air-cool and water-cool insulated diesel generators from 4.5 kilowatts to 10 kilowatts. Small gas generators 1,000 to 2,500 watts, diesel 5 kilowatts welding generating plants, and the newest edition portable solar generators for a quiet atmosphere. They have lots more to view. Visit Pegasus Traders Limited at FYGAROshops.com or call 876-323-0790.
You're a VIP with CIBC Caribbean. Spend US $100 or local equivalent with your CIBC Visa credit card for your chance to win a crop over VIP experience in Barbados. An all-expense-paid trip for two, staying at the Courtyard by Marriott Hotel, cultural tours, and Aura experience with full glam makeup, plus tickets to the hottest last lap events. Visit CIBC Caribbean /crop over 2025 for more info. Conditions apply.
Want to reduce your high electricity bills? Then Peak Energy has the solution for you. From grid-tied to hybrid solar inverters with full lithium-ion battery pack. Installation and maintenance packages available. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hill, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Tune in to Nationwide at 5 on Thursday, June 5 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. as we broadcast the Fosrich and Partners Energy Expo from the Jamaica Pegasus Legacy Suite. Join us live as Fosrich highlights sustainable energy solutions, investment opportunities, and industry collaborations that highlight strategies for national development and technology advancements, showcasing cutting-edge energy solutions and innovations. So tune in to Nationwide at 5 on Thursday, June 5 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's the Fosrich and Partners Energy Conference. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Fosrich Group of Companies. We foster rich customer service. First Global Bank, Development Bank of Jamaica, Jamaica Solar, and Huawei.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Tune in to Boy Things After Dark from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a sizzling outside broadcast live from Birchak Fried Chicken at 118 Red Hills Road on Wednesday, June 4. Join me, Kareem Boy Things Brothers, to Birchak for the famous crispy golden fried chicken. We are bringing the vibes our belly to Birchak to satisfy our hunger. Yes, that. Expect live music, giveaways, and more. Visit Birchak Fried Chicken on June 4 and join me on Boy Things After Dark. Tell us your favorite meal from Birchak Fried Chicken and why. So tune in to Boy Things After Dark, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Wednesday, June 4. Check us out at Birchak Fried Chicken on 118 Red Hills Road. Also, log on to our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90FM Live 2. If you can't make it, interact with us online. All this and more, only on Nationwide 90FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Birchak Fried Chicken Jamaica.
Cover Story is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Good afternoon, listeners and viewers. It's 5:36, and it's time for the cover story. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
My name is Sanjay Lewis. Good afternoon to our listeners, and good afternoon, Siobhan. How are you?
Good afternoon, Sanjay. All is well. How are you doing yourself?
I'm great. Let's jump into the business. So the report detailing the job descriptions for parliamentarians has finally been tabled and approved in the House of Representatives. The report will form the basis on which proper criteria will be established for the public to judge the performance and the behavior of their MPs. As the historic document was being tabled, some MPs blasted their colleagues who are perpetually absent from sittings of the lower house. Well, we'll hear more in this report from Siobhan Campbell.
The original Green Paper on the job descriptions for parliamentarians was tabled in the House of Representatives in 2023 by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. 2 years later, Member of Parliament for North East St. Catherine, Carencia Morrison, tabled the report for adoption by the House. The first-term MP says it's been long overdue. She says she's received complaints about many of her colleagues who routinely miss sittings of the Parliament, which form the basis of their responsibilities.
One of the concerns raised in the public space is that there are MPs who are absent from the sitting of the House for weeks or months while collecting full salary from Parliament. And it raises criticism when members whose absence, barring illness, is perpetual and chronic, signing maybe once every 3 months, while appearing hale and hearty in public, going about regular business, politicking in the sun, while they can't attend Parliament. It is barefaced.
North Clarendon MP Dwight Sibley's went further. He labelled the practice as distasteful.
And with the people who are asking that they see their representatives who they have sent here to be in this house and to contribute to various debates and committees. It is not correct. It is distasteful for us to be sent here. And having been sent here, we pay scant regards to the people's business. I'm encouraging all of my colleagues to do their job. At least those that every Jamaican agree to be our job as legislature.
The standing orders of Parliament outline requirements for MPs to attend sittings, granting leave for illness or other serious situations. However, the rules are rarely, if ever, properly adhered to or enforced. And Southwest St. Andrew MP Anthony Hilton says it's not simply enough to be present in the chambers, but meaningful contributions must be made.
To my mind, the most important thing is that you come here and you make a meaningful contribution. You cannot come here and say nothing, and when you do say something, it doesn't move the needle at all whatsoever. You have members who are here sitting, and I wouldn't recognize their voice if they speak anywhere else. I simply would not recognize their voice. I hope that the document goes into much greater detail and ask and hold us accountable for meaningful, not only being present and marked present or absent, but that we come and we make meaningful contribution to the debate that legislators are asked to do so often, and that is our primary role, which is to participate in effective lawmaking.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News. Well, joining us to discuss this further is a public commentator and founder and executive director of Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment, that's Jade Limited, Jermaine Barrett, and veteran journalist and host of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast, Franklin McKnight. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, gentlemen. Good afternoon to your listeners and your viewers.
So, to the veteran first, Franklin, what do you make of this now? Years in the making, we now have a document in front of the Parliament. It has been approved by the House of Representatives, actual job descriptions and code of conduct for members of Parliament.
Well, as you said, we don't know what it says yet, right? But I think that the first thing is that we do need a job description for MPs. I heard one of the speakers, I think it was the gentleman from North Clarendon, saying we should at least deal with what Jamaicans generally consider to be the jobs of parliamentarians. I don't know that there's any consensus as to what is the job of parliamentarians. And let me tell you, one of the things is that we have a national politics. People are not, in many cases, especially in the general elections when you go around on the streets, people don't even know what their MPs stand for or whether their MPs thinking or anything. They're just voting for their party in the main. And because also the selection of the MP is often undemocratic, is often the party throwing in somebody they expect can win or will win. We are not left with anyone who necessarily the people feel this person can put up a good representation for us. And what is that good representation? When do they have a chance to outline what are the concerns of the people in their constituencies? When do they listen to the people in their constituencies? And I'll just stop there for the moment.
And go ahead.
If I could just follow up on that, Franklin, because having this document made available to the public, how will it move the ticker, if any at all, given the tribal nature of our politics?
Well, it's not so much. The tribal nature is part of it, and I'll come to that. But I noticed that Ms. Morrison was talking about how often people are absent from the House and so forth. And of course we want them to go, but when they go, what difference do they make? What difference do they make? I live in different constituencies, and I don't know that the parliamentarians, and I know quite a few of them, necessarily going to the House. There's no avenue for them to express what their constituents think in large part. I know that sometimes the cycle comes around sometimes for a parliamentarian to express himself or herself. But where's the parliamentarians, MPs, question and comment time? And the MPs are falling under the whip of their party. they believe largely that they must support the party position and to hell with what their constituents think. So the tribal nature, I think sometimes we overblow that. It is there. But I know, for example, MPs have complained that when they are in opposition, MPs on either side, on both of the two political sides, when they are in opposition, they can't get anything much for their constituency, for the communities, for the things that they feel helpless. And so, what is this document? I mean, it's a pity we don't have it before. But how is this document going to address that? Going to address how you select the person to be the MP? How many times must the MP have a town hall, or how does the MP know what the constituents are saying, and what the MP must do? You know, the impression of the MP now is that generally is a handout person. Go to the MP for this, that, and the other, including fertilizer. It is largely a backward and waste of time situation with regard to what the MPs can do if allowed properly to represent the constituency.
Well, we're up on a break, but after the break, I'd like to bring in Jermaine Barrett to address, or at least to speak to many of what the issues you just raised, Franklin. So please, stay with us.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It's 5:45.
Burnt Chuck fried chicken always ready. Burnt Chuck, original crispy. Burnt Chuck, Cajun spicy. Burnt Chuck, a barbecue. Burnt Chuck, we are going Burnt Chuck.
The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Ochivios is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, Kingston, and it's also 30 out west in Montego Bay.
It's the new Jamaica Police Force. We're embedding quality service delivery into the police training to ensure respectful and professional interaction with the public at all times. We have redesigned police stations to be more welcoming, featuring reception areas instead of guard rooms, private interview rooms so domestic calls can be interviewed separately. All this is part of the evolution of a strong force for good, shaped by the sound policy of the government, backed by the government's financing of critical power, and guided by the visionary leadership within the force and the Ministry of National Security.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We're talking about job descriptions and code of conducts for parliamentarians, which was tabled and approved yesterday, Tuesday, by the House of Representatives, now going to the Senate for further consideration. And we have our guest, Franklin McKnight. He's a veteran journalist and host of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. And we also have with us public commentator and founder of Jade Limited, Jermaine Barrett. So, Franklin, I do have at hand the document. I understand that there was some delay in getting a soft copy, but I do now have from the Parliament the actual report of the Joint Select Committee, and as part of it, it has the green paper line out for the key deliverables and outputs of parliamentarians. It says 1. Regular attendance and active participation at sittings of Parliament. 2. Regular attendance and active participation in committees of Parliament where applicable. 3. Participating in debates on bills and motions before the House. 4. Voting on bills and motions before the House. Timely preparation and submission of project documents, including proposed budgets for the Constituency Development Fund. 6. Timely submission of constituency reports in respect of CDF projects. 7. Providing supporting documentation to CDF implementing agencies for resources allocated to constituents by them. 8. holding CDF consultations in the constituency biennially, 9, preparing multi-year constituency development plans of action and implementing related programs, and 10, providing leadership and guidance to constituents on matters for which central government has responsibility, including the ministry, department, or agency to be contacted to address concerns. So there's more here, but those are the key deliverables and outputs as outlined by the Green Paper, which was adopted in the House of Representatives yesterday. Well, to bring in Jermaine Barrett, because I think Franklin raised quite a few points there that at the end of the day, the ultimate decider for when you will remain an MP is an election. And many MPs, I would suggest, don't see how the attendance in Parliament, as in this physical structure of Parliament, is going to assist them at the end of the day in winning that election when, as our democracy stands, their work on the ground in the constituency is what will decide that. What say you, Jermaine?
I think, first of all, let us just underscore the fact that this is a significant development in our democracy. It is a major, relevant, and important move towards greater accountability within the political system of the country. But it's just a start. It is a start, and there's a lot more that needs to be done. The Parliament itself, the administrators within the Parliament, the Speaker of the House needs to be also held to greater levels of accountability in holding the members of Parliament to the standards outlined in these job descriptions. But more importantly, the people of Jamaica, every single one of us have to recognize that we have an important role to play. It's not just the members of Parliament who must do their roles, but every single one of us as Jamaicans must perform our role in observing, holding accountable, and also communicating to our members of Parliament that we are either dissatisfied or satisfied with the levels of performance that they are exhibiting in executing our business, because they are our employees. I also think it is an important milestone in light of the fact that a lot of these kinds of movements that we're now witnessing are manifestation of the agitation of civil society. I mean, the Jamaica Accountability Meter portal, for example, have been quite consistent in making this demand consistently, and I think it is to their credit and to all well-thinking Jamaicans that we are here. But there's a lot more to be done. Now, onto your question, whether or not attending Parliament is an important role of a Member of Parliament for which a Member of Parliament should be held accountable. Absolutely yes. A Member of Parliament must first and foremost be responsible for the legislative affairs of the country. Yes, you have a responsibility to present the concerns, the legislative desires of the constituents within the Parliament and contribute to the development of legislation in an effective and a productive fashion. You can't do that outside of the Parliament, yes? And one of the things that I really want to see happen is the role specifying responsibilities over the CDF, Constituency Development Fund. That needs to be abolished. The CDF is a bane, quite frankly, because quite frankly what it does, it empowers members of Parliament to be deliverers of scarce benefits and spoils, and it obfuscates the responsibility of the state agencies who are supposed to be sort of distributing these resources in a way that is objective and fair. Members of Parliament ought not to have any business doing that kind of work, and I think my only concern now, having heard the itemized delineation of the job description, is that I am saddened by the fact that that still remains a responsibility of members of Parliament.
Well, may I just respond to something that
Go ahead, Franklin.
has said? Yes. One of the things I'd love to ask Jermaine is how does the MP represent its constituencies or constituents in the Parliament, in the handling of legislation, when he or she is not in any constant contact with the members of Parliament? How do you judge that? How do you judge whether they're going to be out there? Because if they are going to the Parliament to put forward their position or the party's position, they're not representing the people. That's the first part. And the second thing that I agree with you on, and I fully agree with you, those CDF projects and the use of the MPs in speaking about the vote for the votes or the allocation for drain cleaning, bushing. Everybody out in the, especially, and you know, when I lived in Kingston, it wasn't as clear to me as when I now live in the rural area. It's a pork barrel. And so just move away those things and work towards that representation. And the representation, I noticed attendance in Parliament, I noticed consultation, project development, documentation and so forth, planning for years down the road and so on. Yes. But help me with understanding how the MP represents the people in that constituency if he is not having regular dialogue with them or with any grouping, as does not happen now.
Well, Franklin, you're absolutely right. There is no other way but to communicate, to engage, and to engage in a sort of a feedback mechanism where the members of Parliament share their views, their ideas, and receive the views from the members from the constituents themselves. There is no other way. And a part of the problem that exists in Jamaica that really limits the maturity of our democracy is that our democracy is too caught up in this pork barrel politics, as you've termed it. People are far too concerned about the distribution of resources and scarce benefits by members of Parliament who serve as dons of these constituencies, quite frankly, utilizing these resources that aren't theirs to distribute in the way that they have a mind to. Yes? But what we need to have
here's a challenge, though, Jermaine, because and looking on the culture and what exists from, I would say, the late 70s up to now, there's an expectation that the MPs are supposed to give certain things within the community.
Precisely.
So how then are we going to change that mindset of the people that the role of the MP is really supposed to focus mainly on legislation and representing them in the Parliament? It's a challenge. How do we bridge that gap?
It's pretty easy. One, we start by abolishing the CDF. Two, we empower, we properly resource state agencies to do that kind of work. Of course, there's going to be a period of teething pain where people say, but hold on, my MP not doing the work that I expect them to do. Well, at the end of the day, over time, it will be resolved. People come to the new normal to recognize that an MP's role is not to distribute fertilizers and scarce benefits, scholarships and all those kinds of things for partisan benefits and gains. It is to legislate, and in so doing, you get a concentrated attempt, sort of focus on the legislative agenda and responsibilities of a member of Parliament. And that is how we do it. It's going to take time, but we can't be so caught up in the immediate sort of angst that will result from the new realities of a member of Parliament not having those particularly, patronizing kinds of roles. We have to look long term at the enhancement of the democracy, which will result.
May I just ask a question from Mr. Campbell?
Go ahead, Franklin.
In the House, how many opportunities do the MPs have to speak in the House, to speak about their constituency?
Specifically about their constituency, that would be the constituency debates. I think that would be the specific moment in time where all MPs are accorded a moment to discuss what happens in order to inform the next budget.
And I know you cover the Parliament. So how many times in the budget, in the cycle, in the parliamentary cycle, do they have a chance to do that?
So that is once before the start of the budget debates. The constituent debates is held once yearly.
Right. And so for me, because I've heard my MP and so on been there, but for me, the issues that are coming out in the constituencies, the issues that people are talking about, don't make their way to the House.
But frankly, that is the purpose of the constituency debates, because it's supposed to tie in with the budget debates, whereas you as the MP, you stand up, explain what you've done, what your constituency requires, and that should inform the plans of the administration in terms of what goes into the next fiscal cycle for the budget. So there is that mechanism. But beyond that, you have a point to suggest that there aren't any other great opportunities in terms of the House of Representatives to bring about the concerns of the average citizen in each constituency?
Well, gentlemen, if I may quickly jump in here. One, you're highlighting here a major deficit in our parliamentary democratic system, which is that a lot of these kinds of conversations, be they constituency debates or sectoral debates, really they're just trite. They're just a bunch of time wasting, quite frankly, in as much as they don't feed directly into the major, important budgetary conversations that need to be had. And so what this really points is that we need more participatory budgeting, where people can feed information to their members of parliament. Their member of parliament opine and present the concerns, the issues raised by their constituents, and those influence the budgetary, decision-making processes. That we don't have enough of. But more importantly, I think as well, let us not limit the role of a member of parliament to the constituency debates. Important though that is, every single issue that is brought up for legislation, every single policy that is brought before a member of parliament is an issue on which the constituents that they represent have an important interest, yes? And so this culture that has developed in our bastardized Westminster system, where members of parliament simply sit at the back of the parliament and bang desks and we don't hear from them at all, it's something that we really, really need to break down. So I would want to see mechanisms coming out of these job descriptions to ascertain quantitatively the levels of contribution, the level of attendance, and so forth that our member of parliament are demonstrating in the service.
Well, you can't fix the qualitative response. Really, honestly, we can't fix how the MP is going to respond. But I agree with you that the need for them to be able to make a contribution and make a significant contribution in dealing with legislation, not just whether they're on committees, but having a say is important. But it goes back to my initial point. You have got to have MPs with a mechanism in their constituencies to talk to the various groups in the constituency, to create a network of feedback where they speak to the constituents. The problem is that many of them do not need to because the party is deciding who's going to run, and many of the new ones are thrown parachuted into the system because the party has decided, and nobody knows of their record of representation or their propensity for it.
That is veteran journalist and host of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast, Franklin McKnight. And we also had with us public commentator and founder and executive director of Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment, Jermaine Barrett. Thank you both for joining us. I wish we had more time to continue this discussion.
I wish we had as well, because I wanted to say a thing or two about the right to recall, which is absent in our democracy.
Thank you. The headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
2 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shaloy Smichael. The report detailing the job descriptions for parliamentarians has finally been tabled and approved in the House of Representatives. The report will form the basis on which proper criteria will be established for the public to judge the performance and behavior of their MPs. Member of Parliament for North East St. Catherine, Carencia Morrison, tabled the report for adoption by the House on Tuesday.
One of the concerns raised in the public space is that there are MPs who are absent from the sitting of the House for weeks or months while collecting full salary from Parliament. And it raises criticism, when members whose absence, barring illness, is perpetual and chronic, signing maybe once every 3 months, while appearing hale and hearty in public, going about regular business, politicking in the sun, while they can't attend Parliament. It is barefaced.
Carencia Morrison, MP for North East St. Catherine. North Clarendon MP Dwight Siblez went further. He labelled the practice as distasteful.
And with the people who are asking that they see their representatives who they have sent here to be in this house and to contribute to various debates and committees. It is not correct. It is distasteful for us to be sent here. And having been sent here, we pay scant regards to the people's business. I'm encouraging all of my colleagues to do their job. At least those that every Jamaican agree to be our job as legislature.
Dwight Siblez, MP for North Clarendon. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says his government is focused on ensuring that the country's utility services are better equipped to withstand storms this hurricane season. Addressing the National Disaster Risk Management Council on Wednesday, Prime Minister Holness noted that the island's telecommunications sector is not only vulnerable to weather events but also criminals.
Our telecommunication providers. Now, I think Jamaica has a very robust telecommunication infrastructure. It has served us well. It has carried us through storms and they are back up relatively quickly. But we have seen where they are vulnerable to criminal activity, particularly the theft of fuel, the theft of generators, theft of copper and fiber, and sometimes even the repeaters. But I think that the government must now create special legislation to place special harsher penalties on those persons who prey upon these critical infrastructure.
The Prime Minister then turned his attention to electricity. He called on the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, to ensure it can quickly restore service in the likelihood of a severe weather event.
The JPS must undertake a comprehensive review of its distribution network and replace those compromised and broken poles with concrete poles. I know that they have started that work. There is a budget, a capital allocation for that, and that work must proceed right throughout the year with great speed and alacrity so that, God forbid that there is any other disaster to come, that we are not without electricity in those areas for any extended period of time. And I know that the JPS is addressing that, but we must say it publicly and we must hold them to account for it.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Government Senator Marlon Morgan is dismissing claims by the PNP that the integrity of the country's financial system is at risk of being compromised. Spokesperson on Foreign Affairs, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, made the claims as part of her sectoral debate presentation on Tuesday. Senator Morgan is instead warning that it is the PNP's utterances that are jeopardizing the government's hard-won financial credibility.
It is despicable, unfortunate, unpatriotic, and vulgar for the PNP, in this instance, through its chairman, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, to have used the floor of Jamaica's Parliament of all places to raise unwarranted and baseless alarm and paint a false picture regarding the integrity of Jamaica's financial system and indeed our financial crimes combating architecture, as is the case with the FID. Dr. Brown-Burke and the PNP are recklessly compromising Jamaica's reputation and are undermining the gains we have made in recent times, having been removed from the grey list internationally.
According to Dr. Brown-Burke, this danger is compounded by the appointment of Chartered Accountant Dennis Chung as the Chief Technical Director of the Financial Investigations Division. Senator Morgan is urging Dr. Brown-Burke and the PNP to desist from spewing false narratives that could harm the country.
The PNP knows fully well that the Financial Investigations Division has the requisite resources, technical capabilities and units, as well as operational systems to faithfully and efficiently discharge its mandate. As is well known to the PNP, Dennis Strong, as Chief Technical Director, will be providing strategic direction and coordinating the day-to-day operations of the entire team at the FID, and has tremendous human and other resources, including police investigators, available to him. The PNP, quite frankly, needs to desist from its destructive strategy of seeking to tarnish Jamaica's reputation, tear down hard-working people, and of course, burn the country down in their bid to rule over the ashes.
Marlon Morgan, Government Senator. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shaloy Smikle. Sports is next.
The National Stadium is the place to be on Saturday, June 7, when a glittering cast of global stars execute their pet events at the 7th staging of the Racers Grand Prix. The stunning lineups include Olympic silver medalist Kishane Thompson, Rashid Broadbell, Oblique Seville, national junior record holder Buwaji and Krumi, schoolboy sensation Gary Card, Zarnell Hughes, Christopher Taylor, national champion DeAndre Watkins, the fast rising Zandrian Barnes, and Trey Cunningham. Check out the women's side where some titanic names are listed, including world champion Sharika Jackson, Shashali Forbes, Natasha Morrison, Favor Ofili, Karika Hill, Sade Williams, and Stacey Ann Williams. Admission finish line $5,000, regular grandstand $3,000, bleachers free until May 31. After that, it's only $1,000. Get your tickets online now at racersgrandprix.com and the Jamaica Pegasus from June 2 to 6. The action promises to be nothing less than sensational.
Tune in to Boy Things After Dark from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a sizzling outside broadcast live from Birchak Fried Chicken at 118 Red Hills Road on Wednesday, June 4. Join me, Kareem Boy Things Weathers, to Birchak for the famous crispy golden fried chicken. We are bringing the vibes our belly to Birchak to satisfy our hunger. Yes, that. Expect live music, giveaways, and more. Visit Birchak Fried Chicken on June 4 and join me on Boy Things After Dark. Tell us your favorite meal from Birchak Fried Chicken and why. So tune in to Boy Things After Dark, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Wednesday, June 4. Check us out at Birchak Fried Chicken on 118 Red Hills Road. Also, log on to our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90FM Live 2. If you can't make it, interact with us online. All this and more, only on Nationwide 90FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Birchak Fried Chicken Jamaica.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Amy Jones and Tammy Buford, they crafted impressive centuries to help steer England women to a stunning 143-run win over West Indies in the second one-day international at the Upton Steel County Ground in Leicester. The pair shared in a 202-run first-wicket partnership as the home team posted 366 for 6 in their 50 overs. Jones made a superb 129 of 98 balls. She cracked 24s. Beaumont was also savage with 106 of 109 balls. She cracked 12 fours and a 6. Emma Lamb weighed in with 55. Karishma Ramnarak and Alia Alain picked up 2 wickets apiece bowling for West Indies, who fell well short of their 367-run victory target. They were actually bowled out for 223 inside 46 overs. Liliana Grimond made 53 and Janela Glasgow 44. Alice Capsey, she took 3 for 41, while Lauren Filer and Lindsay Smith bagged 2 apiece. England lead the series 2-0 with the third match set for Saturday. And 4 Jamaicans are amongst the nominees for the 8th CWI WEEP Awards Gala, an event that honours the outstanding performances in West Indies cricket over the past year. Former captain Rovman Powell and opener Brandon King are amongst the 5 nominees for Men's T20 Player of the Year. They join Nicholas Purant, Akil Hussain and Alzari Joseph. National Women's Team Captain Rashada Williams and Stephanie Taylor are the other Jamaicans up for awards. Williams will battle Erin Dean, Shabika Gashinabi, Mandu Mangru and Plafiliana Millington for the Women's T20 Blaze Player of the Year award, while Taylor has been nominated for Women's ODI Player of the Year with West Indies captain Hayley Matthews, Chanel Henry, Zayda James and Afi Fletcher. Former captain Craig Brathwaite is amongst the nominees for Test Player of the Year. Kavem Hodge, Brathwaite, Craig Brathwaite, Jaden Seals, Shamar Joseph, and Elzabeth Joseph are also there as well. The Men's One Day International Player of the Year nominees are Shafane Rutherford, Casey Carty, Gouda Keshmoti, Alzari Joseph, and Shay Hope. And the West Indies women's team captain Hayley Matthews is also up for multiple awards. The awards function will take place on June 22 at the Wyndham Grand Barbados Sam Lords Castle in Bridgetown. White ball captain Shay Hope is currently the highest ranked West Indian batsman according to the latest ICC One Day International World Rankings. Hope is just outside the top 10. He's the number 11 ranked batsman in the format. Informed Casey Carty is the next best regional batsman after moving 4 places up to number 12. Carty's move was aided by his 154 runs scored in the 3-match one-day series against England. Meanwhile, Gouda Keshmoti dropped 5 places to number 16, but he remains the number 1 ranked West Indian bowler on the list, and Alzari Joseph jumped 9 places up to number 18. The Ultimate Cricket Ground in Discovery Bay has been chosen as a venue for the Stewart Automotive Michael Holding JCA Senior Cup Final this weekend. The 2-day final between Kensington and St. Catherine CC is set to bowl off on Saturday. Kensington and St. Catherine booked their spots in the championship decider, having bagged the first innings points in their respective semi-finals against Clarendon and defending champions Kingston. Chairman of the JCA Marketing Committee and President of the St. Mary Cricket Association, Ian Spencer, says the final should be a cracking event.
It promises to be very, very exciting. Kensington and St. Catherine CC, what more can I ask for? Some of the most explosive batsmen and bowlers in the country. So we're urging all cricket fans to really come out, turn up at Ultimate this weekend and really watch some exciting action.
That's Ian Spencer. At least 10 people have been killed in a crash outside a cricket stadium in the Indian city of Bengaluru, which was hosting a victory parade to celebrate the home team's Indian Premier League title success. Thousands of people, young and old, lined the streets on Wednesday to welcome the Royal Challengers Bengaluru RCB, who beat the Punjab Kings in the IPL final the day before. About 10 people have died in the stampede at the gates of the Chinnaswamy Stadium. When the tragedy struck, the gates of the stadium were not even open, but there were so many people trying to push through a small gate that a stampede took place. Portugal are through to Sunday's UEFA Nations League final after coming from behind to beat Germany 2-1 at the Allianz Arena in Munich on Wednesday. Florian Wirtz gave Germany the lead 3 minutes after the break, but Francisco Conceição, he drew Portugal level on minute 63 before that man, Cristiano Ronaldo, banged in his 137th international goal, which proved to be the winner. Portugal, the 2019 winners, will now await the outcome of the second semi-final between France and Spain on Thursday to know who they'll play in that massive final on Sunday. The Jamaica leg of the Scotiabank Football Kids Championship has run its 4-week course. Came to an end at the weekend. Coronel Avenue Primary were crowned champions after beating Balmaji Primary 3-1. In addition to Coronel Avenue Primary being crowned champions, Scotiabank also distributed individual awards and prizes. Goalkeeper Troy King of Balmaji Primary was awarded Best Goalkeeper. Stephen Brown of Greater Portmore with 14 goals was presented with the Leading Goal Scorer Award. And the best player of the tournament was awarded to Joanna Robinson of Coronel Avenue Primary. Joanna is one of over 200 girls from 60 schools who participated in the island-wide under-11 co-ed competition. Minister of Sport Olivia Grange is currently attending the Olympism 365 Summit in Lausanne, Switzerland. The 3-day event, which is set to end on Thursday, has brought together more than 250 representatives from over 100 organizations within the Olympic movement, United Nations agencies, civil society, financial institutions, for-purpose businesses, the safe sport community, and IOC young leaders. Grange was specially invited to the summit by newly minted IOC President-elect Kirsty Coventry in recognition of her distinguished service as one of the longest-serving ministers of sport globally. She will take center stage at the main plenary session. Well, she was scheduled to take center stage today, where she spoke with us alongside Anatella Baldini, who is CEO of Italy's Public Bank, and they focused on sport and cultural development. The Olympism 365 Summit focuses on leveraging sport to advance the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and Grange's participation underscores Jamaica's leadership in using sport as a driver of positive social transformation. And just to close off with a bit of cricket we may have overlooked, South Africa A beat the West Indies A by an innings and 88 runs in the first 4-day match at the Darren Sammy Stadium last evening. Actually, today, the game ended this morning. Now, resuming on 251 for 6 this morning and needing a further 109 runs to avoid an innings defeat, the Windies were bowled out for 272 in their second innings. Kevlon Anderson made 52, Alec Athanaze 49, and Ronaldo Ali Mohammed 40. Prilian Sobrian took 5 for 82 and Tristan Lush 4 for 86. Yesterday, South Africa A declared their first innings on 600 for 7. Scores in the game: West Indies A 240 and 272. South Africa A 600 for 7 declared. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is...
It's now 6:19.
Enough power tool, big to small. Chakama figure dig the wall. Upper Total Tools. Beat waka figure trim the lawn. We have everything your job demand. Total Tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston. And lot C6 Draxall, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Make a toast to your future. The JTA Cooperative Credit Union is by your side. All educators, the best is what you deserve. We'll keep your dreams alive. Competitive loans to help you grow. We'll take you higher. Great returns on your savings. A bright future is in the making. Build the best you with the best credit union. We are committed to serving you. The JTA Cooperative Credit Union, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
Tune in to Nationwide at 5 on Thursday, June 5 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. as we broadcast the Fosrich and Partners Energy Expo from the Jamaica Pegasus Legacy Suite. Join us live as Fosrich highlights sustainable energy solutions, investment opportunities, and industry collaborations that highlight strategies for national development and technology advancements, showcasing cutting-edge energy solutions and innovations. So tune in to Nationwide at 5 on Thursday, June 5 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's the Fosrich and Partners Energy Conference. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Fosrich Group of Companies. We foster rich customer service. First Global Bank, Development Bank of Jamaica, Jamaica Solar, and Huawei.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come unwind with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat.
Life skills.
Global Connect.
And Bust the Youth. That's the Talk Up Youth radio show. Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads Podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special good evening to our friends over there on our YouTube platform. We welcome you to Public Opinion. All, I see over 1,907. All of you, we welcome you to Public Opinion. You do have the option of weighing in our comment section on today's Public Opinion, and we implore you to, yeah? So the report detailing the job descriptions for parliamentarians, it has finally been tabled and approved in the lower house, which means it will possibly go to the Senate. The report will form the basis on which proper criteria will be established for the public to judge the performance and behavior of their MPs. Now, the original Green Paper, yes, was tabled in the House of Representatives in 2023. 2 years later, Member of Parliament for North East St. Catherine, Carencia Morrison, she was the one who tabled the report yesterday. The first-term MP says it's been long overdue.
One of the concerns raised in the public space is that there are MPs who are absent from the sitting of the House for weeks or months while collecting full salary from Parliament. And it raises criticism when members whose absence, barring illness, is perpetual and chronic, signing maybe once every 3 months, while appearing hale and hearty in public, going about regular business, politicking in the sun, while they can't attend Parliament. It is barefaced.
Serious business. Member of Parliament there for North East St. Catherine, Carencia Morrison. So we are inviting you this evening, members of the public, to share your views with us on this question. What should be included in the job descriptions for parliamentarians? In your view, what do you think could be in this detailed description for parliamentarians, job description? So I'll start on our Facebook platform, where Prince Wellington is telling us the ability to show their worth, because I see 2 female ministers that get pay. Boy, and may I tell you something, them need for refund every dollar plus interest and receive a permanent ban from collecting taxpayer money ever again. Wow. Okay. All right. Philip Jackson is saying quarterly report of all they do, which must be able to pass an evaluation criteria set by government. Okay. Unel Allen is saying all parliamentarians should undergo a lie detector test, especially those in opposition. Wow. I don't know how that would have fared out, Unel Allen. But yeah. Jermaine Donovan is saying the people must decide who they send to represent them in the parliament, but they should not be able to spend taxpayers' money. All programs should be done through government agencies. Parliamentarians' role is to legislate and advocate, says Jermaine. Let's see what Anthony Sheikh's saying to us. No benefits should be given to constituents by them. As it stands now, members of parliament are seen as Santa Claus doing gifts. Giving gifts. Okay. MPs must make representations for their constituents in Parliament and hold town hall meetings to report to them. Some MPs can't visit their constituency because them money not all enough. Wow. Audley Phillips says can be recalled after 2 years by constituents if they are dissatisfied with his or her performance. I think this is a topic that we've heard on several occasions, the process of recalling a member of parliament, but it has not yet come to fruition of any sort. Winston is saying this is specifically for the opposition parliamentarians because most of them, they're the ones more guilty of it. They should stop handing out the CDF to their followers and use those monies to develop their respective constituencies for the benefit of all. George Elliott, he's saying that they should stay away from so-called protests, especially when they are no more than a bluff. Also, they should show up in Parliament in order to collect the MP's salary. Okay. To the question, what should be included in the job descriptions for parliamentarians, Byron Kisoon is saying, do not steal taxpayers' money. Yeah. Okay. Dama Romes saying to us that it should include the MPs are not their constituents' mother nor father. This constant giveaway creates dependency and loyalty. As a result, there is no need to create long-term plans for the constituency. Let's hear what Shins for Life Law is saying to us. A brain scan, a heart scan, 10 fingerprint, and a lie detector test. Criminal record, and a copy of their financial statement before becoming a MP. More so, the ones them over, okay, the opposition side, who love children, and the ones who were convicted. Okay. All right. We hear you loud and clear there, Shins for Life Law. Maureen Bryan is saying, first of all, that person must be a Jamaican citizen only. No allegiance to any other country. The reasons must be for the betterment of your fellow countryman and yourself. Hard working and committed. What do you think should be included in the job descriptions for parliamentarians? Let me see what's happening over on Instagram before I touch over YouTube. Observer Objective is saying, I totally disagree with job descriptions for members of parliament. As far as I'm concerned, they are elected by the people. So, if they're not performing, they can be voted out by the people. That is enough incentive for them to perform at a high standard, especially since they have been receiving their substantial salaries. However, I do think that certain standards should be set, and any parliamentarian that goes afoul of that standard, he or she should be fined substantially. And he puts in bracket millions of dollars, for example. Robert Gregory Lewis, do their work to the best of the constituency, and when they are in opposition, do the work of opposition and don't behave as if you own the country. Okay, wow. Sherry Buns, if there's strong evidence you exhibit unseemly behavior, such as a video of you beating your wife, no for you. Wow. Minimum CXC, says Buchanan, some can't even read and write. Yeah, Boss Lady says, absent from Parliament without solid reason, no pay. Yeah. We say contract workers. Okay, let me see if I can get in a few of the comments on our YouTube platform to the question, what you wanna believe? What kind of thing should be in the job description for parliamentarians? Let's go. Let's see what they're saying. Monique Grant says MPs should be a people person along with have specific qualifications. Misty Blue, MPs need that guide as their job requirement. It can't be for them to go a grave digging. Yeah. Becca Grant, give a list of what is to be done from the CDF and when, how much projects cost, who are the contractors, and a financial report and what they have done to what is outstanding to be brought forward next year. That no sound unreasonable at all. Alex Smith says, 1. Parliamentarians must be in Parliament every Tuesday, if not half pay. 2. Must live in the constituency. And 3. Them no fi born rich. No born rich person should be finance minister. Okay, Alec. Okay. Very specific there. We welcome it. Josephine says 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Okay. Barbara Ellington saying to us, the power of recall. Must live in constituency, must not attend funeral. Wow, Barbara. Must not give away their money to constituents. Must be very wealthy before entering politics. Robert Mackenzie, I see you saying no hickey. All right, okay. Got that one from you. Faith Fabulous says MPs must be in their constituency at least twice per month. You only see some of them when it's near election. Let me see. Monique Grant, MPs should have these core responsibilities: representation, legislation, accountability committee work, public engagement, attend parliament, good interpersonal skills. Let me see if I can scroll up to get some of these. Booker T, raise questions, contribute to creating legislation, attend constituency office, meet with constituents, represent constituency. So members of parliament who are in the hearing of my voice, you hear some of these comments. Look into yourself and look if you do them something. Are you guys doing these things? Well, we will have to see what the job description will entail. It was tabled, the legislation, it was tabled, and we look forward to see. I haven't yet have a look at it, so we hope to see what's entailed in it. Let me see if I can get a few more. MPs must show up and represent the people and do their work, says Coffee Jam. Booker T, it is not just to judge, but to inform public on MPs' role and responsibilities, and I guess that's where the job description come in. Should include, says Maybug, key deliverables for the constituency, be it water, roads, etc. This may need a town hall to determine priority needs. Must attend parliamentary sittings, determine specific number of days. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Roger Shippey said MPs must go to parliament and must have guaranteed number of community meetings per year. All right, let me see. Can't look like them. I go drop down. Juliet S says. Strongling saying it's hard for some MPs, especially those from Hanover and Westmoreland. Representation is key, Representation is key. As your constituent, I must feel as though I'm being represented. I'm being advocated for. Yeah, you're advocating for me. Yeah. Franklin Brown says, how would you recall work in garrison constituencies? Lesko says, most of the MPs know what to do. The problem when them by the people, them vote, them don't even give a... Okay. All right. Yeah. Must have at least one town hall meeting per quarter, says Juliet S. There should be an age limit, says Monique Grant. When you reach 70, please go. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things we'll be looking out for to see. Yeah. Let's see. I implore you all to try and get your hands on the document that was tabled yesterday. Try and get your hands on the report detailing the job descriptions for parliamentarians if you can. That's the time I'm getting the wrap-up signal. Thank you guys so much for participating in Public Opinion. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:36. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Elon Musk hit out at President Donald Trump's signature tax and spending bill again today, calling on Americans to tell their representatives in Washington to kill the bill. The budget, which includes huge tax breaks and more defense spending, was passed by the House of Representatives last month and is now being considered by senators. The tech billionaire posted on X earlier this week that the bill would add to the U.S. budget deficit and saddle Americans with crushing debt. On Tuesday, he described it, as a disgusting abomination in a widening rift between the two. In the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 160 Jamaican dollars and 33 cents to buy $1 US, 215 Jamaican dollars and 20 cents to buy 1 British pound, and 116 Jamaican dollars and 80 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Roby Ann Williams. Good evening.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Tune in to Boy Things After Dark from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a sizzling outside broadcast live from Birchak Fried Chicken at 118 Red Hills Road on Wednesday, June 4. Join me, Kareem Boy Things Weathers, to Birchak for the famous crispy golden fried chicken. We are bringing the vibes our belly to Birchak to satisfy our hunger. Yes, that. Expect live music, giveaways, and more. Visit Birchak Fried Chicken on June 4 and join me on Boy Things After Dark. Tell us your favorite meal from Birchak Fried Chicken and why. So tune in to Boy Things After Dark, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Wednesday, June 4. Check us out at Birchak Fried Chicken on 118 Red Hills Road. Also, log on to our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90FM Live 2. If you can't make it, interact with us online. All this and more, only on Nationwide 90FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Birchak Fried Chicken Jamaica.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Everything loud and wicked every Saturday 3 to 5 p.m. with Outside with Pepita. Lone vibes, lone laughs, and lone entertainment. Come on the road with we. Cause when we say Outside with Pepita, we're there all over Jamaica. Anyway, check them out. We're there. We're in on the business. Stay tuned in for prizes, surprises, giveaways, guest artists, and enough more. But hold on there. We forget to big up my DJ. DJ Jerome the Shell Boss, I'm gonna make it bust to pew pew with the baddest, and latest tune. So look out for Outside with Pepita. We might be coming to a town near you. You heard it here first. Outside with Pepita, Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. The new revolution in media. Jamaica, lock it in and don't miss a thing.
Good evening, listeners and viewers. Welcome back. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis, and we're continuing the discussion regarding the job descriptions for parliamentarians. And we're now being joined by two MPs, the Member of Parliament for West Central St. James, that's Marlene Malahoo Fort. And we also have the Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Catherine, Robert Miller. Lady and gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, Sanjay.
Good evening, and good evening to the listeners.
Good evening, Miss Minister.
Good evening to you both.
Hi, Rob.
So, Minister, let's start with you. Minister Ford, I understand, based on what I've heard, that you had a hand in the crafting of the green paper for the job descriptions. What went into that process? What was the thinking?
You may recall that a commitment was made by the Prime Minister, primarily in response to concerns that were raised about better holding members of Parliament to account and providing a job description. And the Prime Minister assigned the work to me. Much of the draft, the document was prepared, yes, taking into account what was being asked for, getting a sense of what Jamaicans would like to see for the office of Member of Parliament, looking at what obtains elsewhere. So what was presented and what has been adopted from my point of view is to be seen primarily in two ways: as a delivery of a commitment that was made, but it's also a starting point, not the end of the matter, in terms of those who offer themselves for representation and election, and the people generally to get a better understanding of what the role entails.
Minister, I'm not sure if you
I
were...
believe progress is made.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure, Minister, if you were privy to the previous conversation that we had, but the matter of the CDF, the Constituency Development Fund, came up. And some are of the belief that with that role, to be part of the CDF and to have those consultative meetings should be taken away from the MPs. Do you agree with the view that the CDF dominates an MP's work at the expense of national policy-making responsibilities?
So just to clarify that the initial draft did not go into the matters relating to the CDF. The document circulated, but of course, since the CDF has been in operation, parliamentarians do spend quite a bit of time dealing with projects as approved by the Parliament for funding through the CDF. There are different views on whether the CDF should be in existence, and for those who say yes, how it should operate. It's important to recall how the CDF came about. I can understand those who would say that matters related to the CDF should be looked at a little differently and separately from the core legislative function of the Member of Parliament. But bear in mind that this is work in progress, and right now the Member of Parliament is called upon to deal with so many other things that properly should be done by other parts of government. And in fact, I do not believe that we can continue to have the expectations on the Member of Parliament that they perform all of the functions of government. And of course, I am exaggerating when I say all of it. The Member of Parliament, for many, is the first point of contact with the government. And everyone should understand that government of Jamaica for a long time went idle during the many decades of economic stagnation and economic decline. And so a lot of things that should properly be done by government has not been done because there was no money in the public purse. And so the expectation that the person that they vote for should deliver is one that has just expanded. And I think sooner than later is something that we will have to confront in a real way. So for me, I'm just marking progress that we have something that describes, because that's what a job description is, a lot of what happens in the realm of the MP. It incorporates some of what people would like to see, and we are going to continue to discuss this matter because you know that we in the Jamaica Labour Party are keen on reforming government, all of government, for better outcomes.
And Minister, you raise a valid point. I'd like to bring Member Miller on this point as well. This notion that the Member of Parliament is essentially the font of all wishes when it comes to governance at the constituency level. Do you believe, Mr. Miller, that this job description will now give you a weapon, a tool, so to speak, to temper the expectations of your constituents when it comes to you performing your function?
First, I'd like to thank Minister Malabou who had a hand in this, and the committee, the Joint Select Committee as well, and for the work that Minister did on this green paper. The reality is it will not distract from persons coming to Member of Parliament. The reality is that, as Minister stated, that we are the first contact that person view and see in the constituency that as a link with government. The reality is that there are persons in the constituency that this green paper will give them a guide as to the role and the responsibilities of a Member of Parliament. The primary role is legislative, but you find that many persons in the constituency, when there is an issue, especially at the local level, the first person that really gets the blame is the members of Parliament. And the job description will give person an idea as to the role and responsibilities of the Member of Parliament. And it would need a cultural shift in terms of the thinking and the mind of the people to derail them from the office of the Member of Parliament.
And on the matter of the Constituency Development Fund, do you feel that... sorry, Minister, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I think all of us as members of Parliament have experienced frustration to an indescribable limit when we have done our part of the work in making representation for things to be done. Sometimes we go as far as ensuring that monies are appropriated to get them done, and we have to wait on the other parts of government to deliver, because, as I say, government is not a one-man show. So that, you know, I'm excited that a lot of things are coming to a head. Because when you commit to reform in government, I don't think people understand just what is involved and how some cultures have been entrenched and where they have come from.
Yes.
So, you know, I've spent a lot of time because of the work assigned to me to just understand how did we get here. Because by and large, we've had good structures. We have good laws. But let me tell you, for those years of having no money in the public purse or for the mismanagement of the public purse, so many things went off rail. And culture has been embedded in the public sector that really does not take the delivery of service with the respect for the people who are the beneficiaries at the end of the chain seriously. And it is something that, you know, we spend a lot of time looking at how are we going to get the unwieldy machinery of government to work in the way that it should work. How are we going to get people to understand what goes into it? Because government has to be administered. I looked at the report, what came in after the consultations were held and the deliberations were done. And it's all good and well to speak of systems that sound good, but at the end of the day, can we administer them? Now we have to deal with procurement, and we did some amendment to the procurement law recently. But if I cite that as an example, in response to real concerns about accountability, nepotism, all kinds of things, we had to put a whole procurement system in place with rules. But we made those rules so difficult to comply with and so complex that they then became problematic. And the processes were so slow that at the end of the day, when you say to your constituents that we are going to get something done, and when as a parliament we vote on the budget and we appropriate the sums for those things to be done, the process just drags on and on and on. Mind you, we have made significant improvements since we came into government, but we still have some way to go. And the same is true with this matter of the job descriptions for parliamentarians. I do not think it should be seen as a finality, but it must be understood that Prime Minister Holness committed to putting something in place. And if you have not read the comments in the report, I invite everyone, because the issues raised really tell you that those who contributed did so with some thought, even if we have different views on the matter. In many places, job descriptions for members of parliament do not exist. You have codes of conduct, and there are views around that. But again, we in Jamaica like to demand what we want. And if some of us in officialdom caution to say, let us look at what you're asking for. Let us look at how it will work. People sometimes think that you're not, you don't understand it, or you're being resistant. But quite to the contrary, the knowledge gap is huge. And if we don't take time to understand how systems work or how systems should work and what is required of system drivers, we talk a good talk and we don't get the results. But the government that I'm a part of is determined to deal with the intractable problems and to ensure at the end of the day, government can serve the people efficiently and competently.
And certainly, Member Miller, if we're talking about the change in how we approach the role and job of a member of parliament in terms of codifying it, certainly then the structures of the parliament itself need to be adjusted to accommodate those changes as well. For example, we had the guest on earlier who raised the concern that there aren't many appropriate avenues presented to parliamentarians to voice the grouses of their constituents outside of the constituency debate held annually. Do you believe there needs to be adjustments made in that end?
There needs to be adjustment, as Minister stated earlier, that is work in progress, without a shadow of a doubt that the Parliament needs to be better resourced. For example, I would recommend that each parliamentarian needs to have a research specialist, that will assist us in terms of the research and the bills that are brought into Parliament, and, how to lobby for your constituents that you represent. At Parliament, there has to be a different structure where that is concerned. We have the state of the constituency debate, but is that enough to really do the lobbying that is needed for your constituency? That's the next question that one needs to ask and answer. But the reality is that parliamentarians, members of parliament, don't have custody of the CDF. Whenever the CDF is there, yes, for each constituency. However, it's not placed in the hands of the parliamentarian, and a lot of persons believe that we have the funding at our office, and as they come, we would disperse it to them. But CDF, the entity CDF, controls the consultation with your constituency that must be had every 2 years. And also there must be a development plan, a project plan that you must write that has to be approved by Parliament for those funding to be dispersed to. Not to the account of the Member of Parliament, not to the account of the office, but the CDF. And then persons come in and request what they need, and then it's approved and sent to the entity who will do their own investigation, and they will disperse the check where that is concerned. But in my constituency, for example, every year I have my meeting with the presidents for the various citizen associations, and we decide among ourselves as to how we're going to spend our CDF. But the reality is that majority of the times when you call these meetings, even town hall meetings, persons really don't attend, and that's the reality.
If I could go back, Minister, to the matter of... I'm sure, go ahead.
So I would like to see Parliament sit for 3 days per week, 2 weeks per month. It could be the first and third week or the second and fourth week with the alternate